Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me today. If you can hear me, if you can see me, please leave a comment so I know that you guys can see me already. If you can hear me, if you can see me, please leave a comment just so I know that people can see me, people can hear me. Who's here? Please send me a message. Let me know that you can hear me. Okay, I can hear you. Thank you, Cyril. How you doing? Thank you very much for joining. Thank you everyone for joining today. Where are you watching from? You guys know it's typical. You have to tell me where you're joining me from. Rep where you are. Hello, Cyril. Cyril CO. Thank you very much for joining. How you doing? Lagos, Nigeria. My people, welcome. Thank you very much for joining. For everyone else who's here, just send me a message just so I know that everybody who's here can see me, can hear me okay. I'm doing well, Cyril. I'm doing okay. From Kingston, Ontario. Hi, Oluwafemi. Thank you very much for joining. Online millionaire, I can see and hear you. Yeah, there seems like there's a bit of a delay on my end. Like when you guys put the comments, I don't see it immediately. Online millionaire, I can see and hear you. Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, Aromo Oluwabanke from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining. I hope I didn't murder your name. Thank you very much for joining. Always so nice to see you guys. Tracy, hi. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you guys. Thank you. As you join in, please leave a comment. Just say hello. Let me know where you're joining from. I've missed you guys. I've missed doing this, like with just having conversations with you guys without a panel. I feel like the last little while, maybe like last year, every time I've come on live, I was with somebody else. So I've not really had time to sit down and just with you guys and chat with you guys one on one. Ochman, hello you. Hello you. Thank you very much for joining. So how you guys doing? How you guys doing? How's everybody doing? I thought it'd be great to have this conversation with you guys. Just have chit chats. Get you guys get a chance to ask questions. I see some of the questions that come up in my comment section. I'm not able to answer all of them, so this will be a good opportunity, a good chance for people to ask whatever questions it is they have. So if you have those questions, you can start to put them in the comment section and we can start the show. Hello, Oluwabanke. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you so much. Okay, you guys can still see me, you can still hear me, so that's good. Hi, Timmy Tokwe. Thank you very much for joining. You can start to put your questions in the chat if you have any. I have a lot of questions. Hey, Aroma, okay. One at a time, okay, so that I'll not just freeze and run away if questions are too plenty. You can start to put the questions in the chat if you have any. So I have a lot of questions. You guys have messy to do, please. You guys. So the last little while, I have struggled a bit with my energy levels. It has been very busy around here, like really busy around here. Like I told you guys when we moved that we were looking at listing our former house on Airbnb. We've done that now. And you guys, it is a lot of work to get that going. It's a lot of work to run an Airbnb that is not within your house. Within your house, like if you're not living in the same location as the Airbnb, it's a lot of work to manage. I mean, if it's within your house, it's a lot of work to manage, but to now do it outside your house is a lot of work as well. And I remember telling you guys that there was work going on my basement to finish that. Well, my basement is finished now. It is also listed on Airbnb. So the girl is busy. I've been very busy, very, very busy. And my energy levels have been low. I realized that I've not been taking my vitamin D. So if you're out there and you're listening to this, don't be like me. Please take your vitamin D, especially coming up to the time of the year. Take your vitamin D or don't be like me. Okay, questions have started coming in. How easy is it getting accommodation in East Regina? Serial, but I live in Saskatoon. Oh. So I don't know. I can't really specifically tell you how easy it is to get accommodation in specific parts of Regina. Here's what I can do for you. You can follow what's her name? Funke Shui. For 1 minute, I blanked out there. I'll put her handle on the screen right now. You can follow Funke Shui. She's a content creator based in Regina. She'll be able to help out. You can check her videos. Like if she hasn't already done a video about accommodation, you can send her a message or request. She lives in Regina, so she'll be in a better position to give you specific information about accommodation in Regina. The caregiver route, how fast can one get a work permit? Okay. This is another question that I cannot speak to directly. Like, are you talking about being a caregiver from outside Canada, like applying for? I need a little more context. Like, what exactly can one get work permit from where? From outside Canada, or you are a visitor here and then you get a caregiver job and you're looking to convert a visitor's visa to a work permit, or what exactly is the question? Please specify. Watching from England, play piano like a pro. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm just scrolling back up to make sure I haven't missed any questions. What are the jobs? What jobs are in high demand in Saskatoon? Very good question. Very good question. Um, so right now, if you watch the couple of videos that I did a while back, maybe like 2 weeks ago, I talked about how things have changed in Saskatoon, and it seems like the job market has slowed down. But some jobs are always still going to be in demand, whether the market has slowed down or not. Medical related jobs like nursing, dentistry, all of those medical related, even caregivers are in demand in Saskatoon. But I don't know about caregivers who are looking to get jobs from outside of Canada. But right now, like most of the jobs that are medical related are high in demand. IT is always going to be high in demand. IT generally, business analysts, project managers, all of those roles are in demand. The competition is strict though. The competition is just as strict, just the way the jobs are in demand. There are many people vying for those jobs. But right now, it seems like there's an overall slowdown in the number of available positions that we're seeing posted online. And like I said, it would be part of it could be that a number of companies are coming to the end of their fiscal year. So people are trying to balance budget, people are trying to project and just see what the last year has been like and what the next year is going to look like. So it's not very, the job market is not as busy as I've seen it right now. But generally, to answer the question, it is those IT, project management, and then some jobs in the business field as well, like in finance, in accounting, human resources administration. All of those things are in demand, but there's just a general slowdown in openings right now, if that answers your question. Africa Oracle, thank you for joining. That was a great question. Online Millionaire says, I want you to help guide me from getting admission for my wife. I assume that you're talking about education, like your wife wants to come and study. Did I get that right? Online millionaire. Okay, so I see the follow-up question. She wants to come and study masters in project management. Which school though? Which schools offer masters in project management? Like, I don't know if I've heard that. Like, you might need to do some research, do a little more research if schools offer a master's. I know that project management is typically offered like a certification, and then you can take the PMP exam or the Prince 2 exam, depending on where you want to take it from. Please, I need a little more context. Have you already identified a school that would offer this and you just need guidance on how to manage the admission process, or what exactly are you asking? Monica, thank you for joining. Says, is there a demand for early childhood education, early childhood educators in Saskatchewan and Canada? Are they well paid? Is there a demand? Yes. Are they well paid? In my opinion, I don't think that teachers are paid enough in Canada. I don't think teachers and early childhood educators are getting paid what they should be getting paid. So if money is the first drive, maybe not. But if this is something you really like and you find fulfillment in, then yes, there's a demand for it. Their salary can be a lot better than it is right now. But yeah, that's my personal opinion. Handelson Consulting, thank you very much for joining. I'm glad that you're here. Damo, can someone apply for project management roles from outside Canada? The answer is yes. You can apply for jobs from outside Canada, but the big question becomes, would you be finding are there employers who will be willing to justify hiring people who are not already legally able to work in Canada? That's the big question. Because normally what happens is, if an employer is going to hire somebody from outside Canada, they have to provide justification that there's nobody within Canada who can do what they're hiring that person for. So if you're looking to get a job from outside Canada, you might want to target provinces that do like rural immigration. It might not be in the bigger cities because there will be no justification for hiring somebody outside of Canada from the bigger cities. But in the rural places, your chances would be higher because those rural communities, they are not the places that people want to go to as their first choice. So I see it more feasible for you to get a job from a rural employer, especially in project management, than you would in like the bigger cities. So maybe target the smaller provinces, the rural cities that might be looking for this kind of talent, and people are not applying there because it's not a choice destination. That's what's going to increase your chances of getting those kind of jobs from outside of Canada. But it's a lot of work providing that justification that there's no other person within the country who's able to do that kind of work before they look outside. So I hope that helps you. Hi, Marina. Please, I need your sincere advice regarding moving to Canada. I'm kind of well established in Nigeria. I have recently got a job offer in Ontario. Do you think it's worth it? My goodness gracious, you got a job offer from Nigeria in Ontario? So this question is going to be hard for me to answer for you because I mean your peculiar circumstances are it will come into play. Like there are a lot of things for you to consider in this. When you say well established in Nigeria, what does that mean? Do you have a family? Is it a situation where, when you say well established, I take it to mean that maybe you have a lucrative profession, you're comfortable. So, what would you say is the reason why? Did you apply for this job, or were you like shoulder tapped? Were you poached for the job? I would advise anybody, especially if it's coming like this, to take the chance, take the opportunity so that you can expand your point of view, you can expand your knowledge. Like, what's the worst thing that will happen? You will come to Canada, you don't like the job, you can go back to your well established life that you have in Nigeria. But if you come here and you like the job, it would have given you an opportunity to have experience from a different country. If you haven't lived here before, it's an opportunity for you to get like global experience in this side of things. So it seems like it's a win-win situation for you. If you take the job, you come here, you like it, you establish yourself here, win situation. You come here, you don't like the job, you go back, there's an established life, like you call it in Nigeria, waiting for you. So it seems like a win-win situation. Are there particular areas that you're worried about? Like what exactly, what's the fear? What are you afraid of? Will it be worth it? Everything is a risk. Everything is a risk. The decisions that we make and the decisions we don't make have some level of risk to them. So you're the one who's going to put the cards on the table. What do you think your life will look like if you came here, took this new job? Or if you don't take the new job, what does your life look like? Compare both of them. The one that has the more pros than cons, that's what I would advise you to go with. But if there are specific things that you're afraid of, it might help me tailor the advice a little more to meet your specific situation. But is it going to be worth it? I think an opportunity to get global experience is always going to be worth it for a professional. There's no experience that's wasted, if that helps. Can a UK tier 2 holder get jobs in Canada? I don't think there are specific jobs that you can only, well, the only profession that I know that when you're coming in with a certification or something from the UK, you have an advantage. It's in the medical field. I know that doctors, they get a part of their licensing process waived, or the process is faster when they're coming in with education from the UK. But tier 2 UK visa, is that like a work permit? Is that like a temporary leave to remain, or which one is tier 2? Please clarify for me. I'm not very familiar with the terms in the UK. Which place or places in Canada have the type of winter that is around 5 degrees or 2 to 7? I'm sorry. I think the question is hilarious. Which part have, I like how specific you are, like 5 degrees or 2 degrees or 7 degrees. So anything other than that's a deal breaker, Abby. Bro or sis, I don't know which one you are, but I don't know anywhere in Canada where the winter is 2 degrees. Oh. There's always minus in front of these numbers in case you forgot to add that part. There's minus in front of the temperatures we see in Canada. So the warmest province from what I've heard so far is British Columbia, and it's about the most expensive one of the most expensive provinces. Only BC I know that has winters that don't look that are not as ridiculous as the other parts of the country. Ontario is not bad as well. I hear they get a lot of snow, but not 5 degrees. There's always minus in front of the digits. Sorry. Okay, that helps a lot. I'm glad. Okay, my this is frozen. Okay, hello Marina, great job you're doing. Thank you very much. Landing next year via FSW, so that's Federal Skilled Worker. Still at a loss on the province to land and reside. I have a family and financial background. Which province would you suggest? So when you say you have a family and financial background, does that mean that money is not a problem? Please help me understand. So that I can just have you move next door to my house. Since money is not a problem, you come and help me, please. Don't mind me. What province should you land? There's a couple of factors to consider. What's your code threshold? How much are you willing to spend? When you say you have financial background, how much money do you have? Like, if you were going to put your expenses for the next 6 months on a sheet of paper, is this something that you can afford if you don't have a job? If the answer to that is no, then you might want to consider going to one of the smaller provinces. What is your profession? What do you do? Is your what province is your profession mostly in demand? If you're an IT person and you're looking for where you can get options for like IT related jobs, you might want to consider a province like Ontario, which is like a hub, like a major hub for those kind of positions. If you're Again, the factors to consider are quite a bit, and I'll need a little more context. So, what's your profession? When you have financial background, what does that mean? Like, how much money would you have? Like, would you be able to sustain life in a place where, if your expenses put together is like $5,000, $6,000 a month, depending on your family size? Is that something that you can sustain for a couple of months if you don't have a job? So all of those factors come into play. Do you know anybody in the country? Do you know anybody? Do you know anybody in any city that can make that transition easy for you? Is there something on ground that you can already build on? All of those factors come into play. So if there's more context you want to provide, I'll be able to provide more tailored advice. But But so far, those are the three things I'll put in front first. What's your cold threshold, which means what provinces can you not go to because they're colder than others? What's your profession in? Where is your skills most needed? And I mean, how much money really is financial background? How much money do you have? What is sustainable for your family? Or tier two is work visa. Okay, so if you have a work visa in the UK, I hope the B, I hope I was able to answer that. If I didn't, please just provide some more context and I can go back to it. Um, so to go back to the previous question about if tier two worker can get a job in Canada, I would say try. It doesn't hurt to put yourself out there, put the applications out there, and just see what the response is like. Because I don't see why not. It will be the same way as somebody who's applying for a job outside of Canada, whether it's a tier two or not. You're just not legally able to work in Canada right now. So the chances are the same as every other person who's applying from outside Canada. So try. Put yourself out there. You just never know. Oluwafemi, I have spent 1 year in Canada on so that means spousal open work permit. I am currently working as a part-time professor, and I've tried everything possible to get a full-time job so as to apply for permanent residence. I need your advice. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That must be very unsettling. Um, how long more do you have? How long more validity do you have on your spousal open work permit? What province are you in? Is it possible that you who's on the open work permit can consider? I'm not very sure how the spousal open work permit is tied. Like, are you tied to the location that your spouse is in? If you're not, have you tried considering looking for opportunities maybe outside of that province? Because I know that for some provincial nominations and even federal express entry, you can't really get nominated with a part-time job. So yes, you do need a full-time role for you to be able to transition into permanent residence. Is that an option that is open for you right now? Can you consider other places and other provinces? Expand your search in the roles in the locations that you're looking for in the job. Is that something you can do? Please provide a little more information. Minus 40 degrees. Yes, we used to see minus 40 degrees in Saskatchewan. I'm not even lying. Hi, Joyoga. Thank you so much for joining. So nice that you're here. Hi, Marina. Is relocating via study route better than work permit? I've read that coming in as a student will help you blend in faster. How true is that? So it's going to be hard to compare them side by side. If we really want to compare them side by side, both of them have pros and cons. Coming as a student it's a gradual way to ease into things here. If I'm going to be honest, it's true that coming as a student, because your first understanding or your first experience with the Canadian environment will be in school, where the expectation is managed, as against when you are going straight into the workforce, where there are expectations on your delivery, there's expectation on performance, and you are expected to already be able to blend in quickly into the workforce while you're delivering on these expectations. It can be a bit of a struggle. The pressure can be a lot. Whereas as a student, it's like you have the option to ease in gradually because you're meeting other people who are like you. So you're learning about things that you will meet in the workforce, but in a more less pressured and less tension environment. But coming in as a student is significantly more expensive as coming here on a work permit. So both of them have their advantages and their disadvantages. If you're able to come in as a student, that would help. But if you're able to get a job and you come in straight as work on a work permit, you still can transition. You just will need to do a lot more research. You will need to do a lot more reading. You will have to learn faster than if you were a student, if that makes any sense. You will have to learn a lot faster because while you're adjusting their expectations on your own delivery, so you don't want to put your job in jeopardy because you have a hard time understanding the culture of the workplace. All of those things can take a toll. So a lot of research is needed, a lot of learning, a lot of unlearning is needed. You're just going to be learning on the go. Like, you have to be a fast learner to be able to make that adjustment quickly. So both of them have their advantages and disadvantages. But if I were to put one over the other when it comes to the ease at which you can transition, there's less pressure to transition as a student, because I mean, like I said, your first constituency is your classroom, right? There are no, even though there are expectations on you as a student, but the expectation is as a student, as against working in a place where somebody is paying you money, they expect you to deliver as soon as yesterday, so the pressure is just going to be a lot less. But then as a student, it's more expensive. Okay, Oluwabanke says, what visa would you advise for a 40 plus to pursue? Is it too late? Please explain about the express entry. So I'll talk about that second part first, about the express entry. Express entry is a very broad, that's a very broad thing to explain. There are many, many different parts, many different nuances. There are many pathways under this process. So a good place to start would be to go on the IRCC website and read up about it. Just look up the different pathways and see which one most closely matches your education and your experience. Because if I want to start explaining express entry here, we will not leave this place. So that might be a good place to do some research and see. Is it too late? No, it's not actually too late. I read about a 51-year-old woman who came to study in Canada. She landed in Canada to study. So 51-year-old can land, 40 plus is definitely not too late. If you want to consider additional education, you might want to consider the study route. Like if that's what you're really using I'm tripping over my words. If you really are looking to make the move, then the study route might be the most viable one, because the express entry is point based, and the older you are, the lower your points. So depending on your education, depending on your experience, depending on how competitive you will be in the pool, but as you get older, your competitiveness, especially as it comes to age, reduces. So you want to consider the study route just to see if you can take a master's degree or something that, yeah, puts you in that position where you can come in as a student. That's going to be a more viable option at this stage. But I would say read up about the express entry and see how well you compete or how well you can compare to the requirements of express entry. I think she worked in finance. I'm not sure what this means. Oh, I think it's a question about the person who said they have financial background. Goodness gracious, Marina, slow day. So the person meant they have a finance background, like that's what their experience is in. Hey God. I honestly thought the person meant they have like a good financial standing, like they have money. Money is not a problem. You guys can tell that all I'm thinking about is money, Abby. The hustle is real. For that person, sorry, please don't be angry. Is that what you meant? That your background is in finance? Please clarify. You guys, please be doing this question so that I will not be interpreting it with the meaning that is in my head. Please help me. Please, if that's what you meant, can you put the question again, or if you have, I haven't gotten to it yet. Oh my god. Okay, I'm seeing more comments. Financial industry background. Okay, maybe that's what the person meant. My god. I'm so sorry. I got that totally wrong. Okay. So the advice that I gave still counts. It still counts. Financial background, what exactly does that mean? Is that banking? Is that as a financial auditor? Is that as an accountant? What exactly does that mean? Again, you want to do some research and see what provinces have these roles in demand. How you can do that is look on LinkedIn, look on Indeed, see the jobs that are posted, and see where the location, where the most openings are. It will give you like an idea of what places need the expertise that you're bringing. Okay, if that helps. Every other thing still counts. Like, how much money do you have? So now I can ask, how much money do you have? What's your code threshold? What's your family size? What is reasonable for you to afford? That's what's going to determine what province you go to. Oh my God, that's so funny. Like, Marina thought it was money the person talked about. The Igbo girl in me came alive, even though I'm not Igbo. Is ACCA relevant in Canada, most especially for senior financial roles? So for ACCA, I know that somebody explained this thing to me and said there are two certifications that you can get from the UK that can be directly converted into like the CPA certification in Canada. I don't, if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I know that ACCA from the UK, they do have like a reciprocal agreement with CPA in Canada. So when you come here, you can convert your ACCA to CPA. And to answer the question, is CPA relevant? Because you're going to need to convert ACCA to CPA when you get here. Is it relevant, especially for senior roles? The answer is yes. There are some positions that you will not be able to get at certain levels if you do not have the CPA designation. So it's definitely relevant for senior roles. Okay. So my comments look like they're a bit delayed. I'm not seeing questions in real time. Like I have to scroll and then I'll see that I've missed a number of them. I don't know what's going on with that. What is the cost of housing in Saskatchewan in the entire province? Okay, that's a tough question. What's the cost of housing in Saskatoon? I'm going to narrow that down because that's the one that I know. So it totally depends. The cost of renting has significantly gone up. When I moved here in 2016, we could rent a two-bedroom apartment for $7.99 a month. That's never gonna happen again because right now there are one-bedroom apartments that are like $1,000. Two-bedroom is now anywhere from like 1,001, 1,200 and above. If you're renting like a full, like say like a three-bedroom apartment, that can range from anywhere between 1,002 to 1,006, depending on the location and the amenities that it comes with. If you're looking for a full house, it can start anywhere from 1,800, depending on how it is and the location, 1,800 to as high as 25 to 2,800 a month. If you're looking to buy, the market is crazy right now, like because the rates are really high. The prices we're seeing are really high. So for a normal standalone three-bedroom home, not finished basement, maybe a detached garage, you're looking at anywhere from between, again, depending on the location and where it is, you're looking at anywhere between say like 290 to like 350,000. If there's anybody in Saskatoon on the call who has more information about this, please put that in the chat for this person to be able to look at. But I can't give specific figures because it's not a strong point for me. I'm just talking based on what I see online. When they advertise houses, this is what the range is. But yeah, it's gone up significantly. Can visitors, if someone is on a student visa, can they bring their fiance along as dependent? I know that you can bring a husband along. I don't know anybody who has come in here with their fiance, because if you're going to bring a dependent, you have to show proof. If it's your child, you have to show like proof of relationship. If it's a spouse, you show like proof, marriage certificate, marriage pictures, and all of that. I don't know how that applies to fiance. I don't know anybody who has come here with their fiance, but I know people who have come with husbands. So you might want to consider getting married just to solidify that, because yeah. Oh my God, DB, I'm very embarrassed. The financial background you meant is that you work in the financial sector. Oh, I see. Your budget is a lean one because you have a big family and your partner is into salon and spa kind of business. So again, the advice that I gave previously still counts. So if you don't have a lot of money, you want to consider like the smaller provinces, not the bigger cities. Even if you're going to go to a big city, you want to consider a big province, you want to consider like the smaller cities where the cost of living is not going to be as steep as the bigger places. This is the time where you want to take all the advice that I've given previously, manage your budget, be realistic in how you're spending, make sure you're going somewhere where you know at least one person. That's going to make the transition easy for you. It's going to make it a lot easier if you're going somewhere where you know somebody. So is there somebody somewhere that you can depend on to an extent to show you around? If your budget is lean, please don't. Ontario, you can always move. Ontario is a big province, like two-thirds of Canada's population is in Ontario. Maybe that's not where you want to start from. If you don't have the money and your family is big, consider a smaller place. Consider the Atlantic provinces. You want to also look at all of those options. The Atlantic provinces, the prairies would be your better option when it comes to settling in and what is affordable as against like British Columbia and Ontario. I'm so sorry for reading that wrong. What benefits do I get on a work visa? Child benefit, health. Health, I know you can, but a work visa, you are still considered a temporary resident. You know what? I'm going to have to look that up. I know that for international students, you have to be here for at least 18 months before you qualify for child benefit. I'm not sure how that applies to work visas. So it's definitely something I can look up. Can somebody help me Google this and put it in the chat if you can? Ochman, are you still there? Please help me Google this and put in the chat. I know for international students, you have to be here for 18 months. I'm not very sure how it applies to. I know that most of the benefits Canada offers, they say open to permanent residents and citizens. So maybe the 18 months also applies to those on work visas, considering the fact that you're a temporary resident. But that's definitely something to reconfirm. I'll reconfirm that. Okay, there's so many questions about work permits in the chat. Are there pathways to come in through work permit? The best way to come in through a work permit is if you have a spouse who's studying, so you can get the spousal open work permit, or you get a job from outside of Canada and then your employer can sponsor you to come here. That's pretty much the pathways that I'm aware of. Okay, Oluwafemi is saying you're open to moving to other provinces. Your validity is till 2025 and you are not tied to the province. So look at other provinces. Look at other provinces. Look at schools in other provinces who are going to need the expertise that you're bringing and apply to them. It can be a bit unsettling to be applying and you're not getting the response back, but I know that most times, especially in the education sector, they don't typically hire people as full time from the start. I hear from what I've heard, they start with part time. Some people first start as seasonal, then they become part time before they become full time because there are unions that govern these places as well. And sometimes when the union is involved, the restriction on if they post a full-time opportunity, they will have to consider the people who are already part of that union before they look outside. Seniority becomes a factor, like who's the most senior qualified candidate. And most times the internal people get considered first. So yeah, maybe it might also help you to talk to the person that you're working, talk to who your higher up is right now, and just find out what the possibilities that a full-time opportunity might open up might be. If a full-time opportunity will open up, it means that you will have seniority where you are right now, as against leaving to go and look for full-time opportunity somewhere else. The seniority factor might come into play. I know that faculty members almost always belong to a union. If it's a federal how do I explain it? If it's like a university, the seniority clause will come in. So I really hope it works out for you, but expand the search, check other places, apply to other schools, but put all these factors into consideration before you leave where you are right now, especially if you're building seniority in that position. It might help. Okay, let me see. Just scrolling back to make sure I did not miss any question. Do you have any school that is cheaper with a study gap of more than 8 years in Canada? Because I feel like I'm not searching right. I studied business studies with a job as a ticketing personnel. Do I have any job that is cheaper than what? Like, I'm interpreting this to mean that you're looking for a school that is available and will consider you because you have had a study gap of more than 8 years. Is that correct? Please correct me now before I interpret this to Sokoto again. Is that what you mean? That is cheaper than what? Hi, Marina. Good to see you. Please, I deferred my admission till August 2024. Can I land in January just to acclimatize and get settled in properly as I'll be coming in with my kids? Can you land in January 2024 for a course that is starting in August 2024? The answer is yes. However, you will not be able to work until that course starts. So August 2024, if we want to assume right now, international students can work full hours because of the directive that the immigration minister gave, but that directive is in place until December 2023. If it reverts to status quo in January of 2024, international students will only be able to work 20 hours a week while they're studying, while school is in session, and then they can work full time during holidays, during breaks. If you come in January of 2024, you will only start working in August of 2024. So you will not be able to work while your program hasn't started and while school is not actively in session. So can you come 7 months or 8 months before your program start to acclimatize? Yes. You also want to consider if you're going to be able to sustain your family for 7 months if you do not have a source of income from a job. So if the idea is to come in earlier, settle your kids and start working before your school starts, legally you will not be able to do that. So you can only work while school is in session. So you want to think about that twice. Most schools are saying they will not consider you when your study gap is more than 5 years. I have never heard of that, where a school will specifically say they cannot admit you if your study gap is more than 5 years. Can you give me more context? Is there a school particularly who has said that? I know that they consider mature students where your experience counts for something. I know that the University of Saskatchewan hires mature students where if you took a break from education because you have been working and now you want to get more education in the areas you have been working in, mature students count for something. So I don't know any school. Please, can you tell me the name of the school? I'd like to look that up and learn a little more about that. Are you sure that's the reason why, or you're just not getting admitted and you assume that's the reason why? It could be something else that you're doing wrong. But if they have told you that they will not take more than 5 years, please educate me some more on that. I live in England. I can tolerate the winter in England, but even though I don't like it, but you see that Canadian winter is a serious turn off. I wonder how you guys cope. There's a popular saying that there are no bad winters, there's just bad dressing. You already know, like, we already know that it's going to get cold. Like, winter is a thing here. So it's to prepare appropriately. How do we cope? I still don't know. Because me, who has been here 7 years, I complain. People who have been born here are still complaining. So we're all still complaining. We just, I mean, make the best of the winter while it's there. Dress appropriately. If you're dressed properly and you minimize being outside. For me, in winter, it's almost like I take a break from driving. I avoid driving if I can. Um, just to minimize, because I've been in winter accident before and it's not funny. It's actually not funny. So we just I mean, wear all our clothes, dress properly, make sure that you're prepared appropriately for it. That's how we cope. But I still don't like the winter. Like, if nah, it's just something you have to put up with because you don't have a choice. If not, none of us will have it. I'm sorry, I don't understand this question. Is Mexico in New Brunswick? No, Mexico is a country on its own in North America. New Brunswick is a province in Atlantic Canada. Did I miss something? Is this a follow up? No, Mexico is not in New Brunswick, if that's what you're asking. Hi Marina, I want to come through the study route. Can you please advise on which school is best to come and study masters in logistics and supply chain management? So I'm going to put a link in the chat. You can narrow down your search using that link. Put Enter the course that you're interested in, and it will give you options of the schools that offer that, and you'll be able to compare. So let me see if I can pin the comment. My goodness, the questions are a lot. So look on educanada.ca and you'll be able to narrow down your search there. Okay, I'm going to have to be a little quicker with this. Like, we're already 45 minutes in. I don't think I've gotten to half the questions. I studied BSc Agric Economics, but no experience. Where do I fit in? What do you have experience in? What's your experience in? Like, if you were going to search for a job now, what skills and experiences, what skills and competencies do you have that can be transferred to something else? What do you have experience in? But if it's just the BSc that you have and you have not been able to use it to work, you're going to have to figure out what you want to do with that. So what experience do you have? What transferable skills do you have? That's where we'll start from. Please talk about the University of Sask. What exactly do you want to know about the University of Saskatchewan? Guys, please help me with these questions. Just be specific in what you're asking. Like, be specific in what you want me to talk about Talk about the U of S in what sense? Like what program, what exactly about the U of S do you want to know? Okay, so thank you very much, Oluwafemi. Your kids can get benefits if you're in a working visa as long as you have lived in Canada for 18 months. So it's the same thing that applies to international students, basically temporary residents. So your children will start to get child benefits after the 18-month mark. Oluwafemi, thank you so much. However, if your visa has no recourse to public funds, then you cannot claim public funds. That's also true. Thank you very much. Okay, Ochman is putting more. Work permit holders can get access to free healthcare under the health insurance. Okay, yes. So for healthcare, they get health insurance. It's child benefit, I think, has a wait period. And then this one also has a wait period as well, totally province dependent. Thank you very much. Thanks for adding that information. Okay, Florence M says, I don't live in Canada. I'm 50 now and I'm only beginning my life now, studying to be an accountant. How do I apply for work? Is it too late? Do you want to, where are you studying to be an accountant? Are you looking to come to Canada to study to be an accountant? That might help. How do I apply for work? Again, totally depends on if where you are applying for work for. If you're looking to be an accountant, you might want to look at the rural provinces as well. But since you're studying, it means you are not an accountant yet. So it might be tough for you to apply to get work. However, you can apply to come and study here, and then it will make that transition process easier. So most employers provide in-house health benefits. That's also correct. Thank you very much. Okay, okay, Loretta Abiola, see you in Saskatchewan in January. Okay, all the best. The school is in Royal Roads, British Columbia, and it says study gap of more than 5 years for masters will not be considered. That is completely new to me. I'm going to have to look that up. I'm going to have to look that up. That's new. There must be a reason because I know that from time to time schools update their admission requirements. There definitely must be something that they have seen. Maybe there's a pattern of people struggling if there have been too much of a study gap that's made them put that in place. But I'll look more into this. Well, if the school is saying that they cannot consider more than 5 years study gap and you have 8 years study gap, you might want to consider other schools that don't mind. I know that some schools consider people who have been working in the area where they're coming to study, they consider them as mature students, and their years of experience count towards the consideration during admission requirements. I know a couple of schools do that, so maybe consider another one that does not have that requirement. Hi, Marina. Thank you for educating us. You're welcome. Is it worth it to come to Canada from South Africa? Is it possible to get an IT job from outside Canada, even though I'm not Canadian or a permanent residence holder? The answer is yes. Is it possible to get a job? Yes. That's the yes I'm talking to. Is it worth it to come to Canada from South Africa? I think it kind of applies to the question that I answered before. What does your life look like? What are you looking for? What's the pros and the cons of both places? Which one has more pros than cons? That's what's going to determine what is worth it for you. Is it possible to get an IT job from outside Canada, even though you're not Canadian or permanent resident? Absolutely. IT is one of the most viable professions where I see more people getting jobs from outside Canada. I've had a few people who interviewed from their home countries. The employer relocated them from their home countries to come into Canada to do the work. So IT, yes, your chances are higher getting a job from outside Canada in an IT profession. So, yes. What is the prospect of a biomedical engineer in Canada? This question is hard. What's the chance? What's the prospect? You might want to consider where, honestly, I don't know. Let me not lie. Let me not go and say what I don't know. Like, what's the prospect? It depends. You will have to do some research to see where this is needed. You will have to do some research just to see. The only person who I know has some um that has some background in biomedical engineering is Dr. Adeola Olubamiji. I know that she has a PhD in biomedical engineering from the University of Saskatchewan. She was actually the first Black woman to graduate from that course. So that's how I first got to know her. She was in the news for that. That's the only person I know. But Dr. Adi lives in the US now. So I don't know a lot about the biomedical engineering pathway in Canada. You might need to do some research or follow Dr. Adi on Instagram. She's at Dr. In fact, let me put it here. She's at Dr. Adi on Instagram. At Dr. Adi. Follow her on Instagram. That's the only other person I know has a biomedical engineering background. She might be able to provide more context, but right now I don't know so much about it. Is there a site where one can apply for scholarships in Canada? There are so many. If you're on Instagram, there are so many Nigerians on Instagram and on Twitter who share a lot of information about scholarships, about international students. These guys have a lot more direct insight than I do because I didn't come here as an international student. So most of these things are not within my radar. But these guys know so much. If you follow Tunde Tash on Instagram, if you follow Olufemiloye, he's at Olu of Canada on Instagram. You can follow Mrs. O on Instagram. You can follow Soma Okibe on Instagram. If you write down all of these names I'm talking about, if you go to their pages, they are constantly sharing information on Instagram and on Twitter about about scholarship opportunities for international students. So follow these guys. You will find the information. I can write down their names in the chat. Olu of Canada, Mrs. O, Soma Okibe. These people share a lot of information about scholarships in Canada. So I've put the comments, pinned the comments, so you might want to check that. Is it possible to get a fully funded scholarship at the U of S? Yes. If your master's degree or your PhD is in a research-based program, if it's a research-based program, yes, you can get it fully funded. What that also means is that you're going to need a supervisor. You will need a supervisor as a requirement for admission. You will need to find somebody who's willing to supervise you because those are the people who will provide the funding. But is it possible? Absolutely. What do I mean by rural provinces? So Express Entry has a pathway, a sub-pathway that is called the Rural Immigration Pilot. There are a number of provinces that are there where particular cities are looking for professionals to come to those places. So if you look up the rural immigration, there's the Rural Northern Immigration Pilot, I think that's what's called. Some provinces, some particular cities are signed up in that program where they are particularly targeting professionals who will come, who they will nominate to come and live in those provinces because of a shortage of labor. So that's what that rural immigration pilot is about. I should have been more specific. I know that Saskatchewan is among Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan is one of the cities that offer that rural immigration. And it started as a pilot program. I'm not very sure if they still have it going right now, but I know a couple of people who have come in through those programs. For the rural stream, will I have to stay there or can I move? Well, the whole idea of rural immigration is so that they will have professionals who will come and stay there. But what I've heard, just like provincial nomination, is that if you get there and you have a hard time finding a job, which is not likely, but if it happens, you have a hard time finding a job, you can write to the city to say you've tried to find a job, you are not able to find a job, or your children have a hard time acclimatizing, so you have to go somewhere else where you have found a job. I know a couple of people who came to Saskatchewan through provincial nomination, but they couldn't find jobs or could not apply their expertise directly. They wrote to the government and moved to other provinces, and that was fine. But most times when you're coming in through these rural programs, the recommendation is that you stay there at least until you become a citizen. Then you have the option to move to other places, except you have peculiar circumstances why you cannot stay there, and then just notify them and then you can move. This was the question I was answering. Can you stay there or can you move? Okay, I jump your question. Is New Brunswick employing foreign workers now? Because I had a link saying Now, New Brunswick needs urgent foreign workers. I want to apply, but Modico is also on the form. Okay, I have a hard time understanding this. You will need to look online to see if I'm not aware or if New Brunswick is urgently applying employing foreign workers right now. You will need to look on the IRCC website to see what's there. I'm not sure what Modico is. If you want to please clarify. Please, can I send my 8-year-old son to study in Canada while my wife, the mom, comes with him as a guardian? 8 years old, so they will be coming as an international student to be in grade 4. That's what that means. Of course, there are international students even in elementary and in high school, but if your wife can come as a guardian, I believe she should be able to, because an 8-year-old is definitely a minor and they need a guardian. If they don't have a guardian here who you can apply, who you can appoint as a guardian, can the mom come? A little more research might be needed there, but I know that there are international students in like the elementary schools and in high school as well. But do you really want your 8-year-old to? That's grade 4. That's grade 4. Yeah, a lot more research is needed there for sure. Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot. Yes, that's what RNIP means. We'll be landing Sask early December. What is Sask? Is that Saskatchewan or is it Saskatoon? Accommodation and job search hasn't been easy. Like I said, if you're not already here, employers might not want to take a chance. Does my certification for HR CIPM here in Nigeria count my qualification for HR jobs in Canada? The answer is yes and no. If all you have is the certification without job experience, it might not count. But if you have the CIPM and you have commensurate HR experience, then yes, it will count. It totally will count. We'll be landing Saskatoon. Okay, Victor Amusa, you have clarified. We're landing Saskatoon early December. Accommodation and job search hasn't been easy. I'm an occupational safety and health professional. So you have not been able to find a place to rent. Do you know anybody here? Victor, send me an email. I can send you the contact detail for a realtor that I know that you can work with, just to see what your options are depending on your budget and all of that. Occupational health and safety. Do you need a license to do this? Is it regulated? I know that most companies put occupational health and safety with human resources, but you need to check if there's a license that you need to do that here. If there is, then that's what your immediate target should be, to get the license, or you might not be able to find a job without that professional certification or license to do it. Hi, Fatu. I always trust of you. Landing in Canada as a PR in 2023 or 2025, what do you think? That's very broad. What are the factors we're looking at? Why 2023? Why are we comparing 2023 and 2025? You jump one whole year. What's happening there? I need some more context, please. With Canadian immigration, let me tell you what I know for sure. With Canadian immigration, if it's something you're interested in, the best time to do it was yesterday. The next best time is today, because the policies can change in the next 2 months and things might be different. It might be either favorable or become unfavorable. So 2023 or 2025, I'm trying to understand why. What are we comparing there? On what basis? Hmm. Hi, Marina. I'll be coming in this November as a permanent resident, coming to Edmonton. Okay, that's in Alberta. But the upcoming winter has been a big worry. How do you think what do you think I can do best to manage the shock as a newcomer? Good question. So I have a couple of videos that I've done on my channel about the right winter gear, driving in winter, just basically things that you can use to prepare, winter essentials that will be necessary for your family. If you look through my channel, you'll find those videos. It's going to be a shocker for sure, because I mean, if you're coming, I'm looking at your name and I see sounds like a Nigerian name. So coming from plus 40 to potentially minus 40 is going to be a bit of a shocker. I would say the first thing you want to do is invest in proper winter gear. proper winter gear, thermal wear that you can wear inside your trouser just to keep you warm, ski pants. If you're coming with children, let me see. Did you say you're coming to a family? No. Okay. Just invest in the right winter gear, like gloves, like neck warmers, like toques for your head. Again, just dress as warm as you possibly can. They say there's no bad winter, just bad dressing, and then ask people, see what resources are available to you in Edmonton. Like, are there places where you can get stuff for free? Are there places where you can get proper winter jackets that are thick enough to withstand the kind of cold that, because Alberta is cold. Like Alberta, Saskatchewan and Manitoba are like the prairie provinces, and three of them get about the same kind of weather. So it is cold. I'm not even going to pretend. It does get cold. So you want to invest in proper winter gear and be properly dressed at all times. Winter boots. Invest in good boots. Close your eye and buy it. It can be expensive, but it will save you a lot of trouble from slipping and falling if you buy the one that is not appropriate for the weather. So ask a lot of questions. Read up what the expectation is. The weather app is going to be your best friend. Make sure you're checking it as you're going out. Know what to expect. So that you're dressed appropriately and you're not caught unawares at any time. Because sometimes you can come out in the morning, it's sunny, by 12 o'clock, the whole place is white. So just never be caught unawares. Do a lot of reading, research, and invest in proper winter gear. Okay. Oh, no accommodation. Oh, I'm so sorry. Kijiji, Facebook Marketplace. Kijiji and Facebook Marketplace might help to find. I don't know a lot of people in Edmonton. I would have connected you. I've jumped your question. I'm sorry. I'm reading the question as I see them. So if there's a delay on the end, I'm not very sure why. I'd like to know more about PMP after an expression of interest has been made and the point is not enough to the previous point of LAA. Please specify what exactly you're talking about. What's LAA? To the previous point of what? I'd like to know more about PMP. Which province? PMP is provincial nomination program. Which one? Are you asking for general? If it's general PMP, then the IRCC website is going to be your best bet. I'm not sure I fully understand this question. Hi Tina, welcome. My firstborn is 23 years old. Can I put him in my application? Or if it's a no, what will I do since he's still under my care? Well, a 23-year-old is basically considered an adult. I know you can link applications, but I don't think you can add a 23-year-old as a minor because they are not. Does anybody have experience with this? Have you been able to? I know that when the child is over 18, they will have to put in their own application, but it can be linked to yours. I don't think you can put a 23-year-old as a dependent on an application. That person is not a minor. If I'm wrong, somebody correct me. Tina, do you have any experience with this? Please put it in the comments so that we can help answer this question for Fatu. You can link the applications for sure, but I don't know if you can list them as a minor because they are over the age of 18. Hi, Jolomi. I need advice from a HR point of view. So I've been working at a place for 3 months in Canada. However, I've gotten another one and the pay is more. I don't know how to resign. Ogbani, you're going to write a letter and say, I wish to resign my appointment or I wish to resign from my employment. I don't understand. What's the problem? What are you afraid of? What does your employment letter say? Like, if you're going to resign, how much notice do you need to provide? If they say 2 weeks, give them 2 weeks. You will write the letter and say, thank you very much. It has been great, but I'm looking to pursue other opportunities at this time. That's all. That's what you owe them. What you don't want to do, though, is to burn bridges. You don't want to burn bridges. Don't live on a sour note. Or is that what the fear is? You feel like if you resign now, something's going to go wrong? Help me understand, Jolomi. What else is going on? Because the way to resign is to write a letter, have a conversation with your line manager, and submit the letter and give them 2 weeks' notice, after which you are out. That's all. Except there's something else in your offer letter that says there's a way resignation should be done. Please help me understand. Okay, Florence, I think I saw your question earlier, but you're providing context now. I live in Ireland. I'm not planning to move to Canada. Okay, can I start my professional life here in Ireland at 50? I know this is general, but is it too late to start working? I don't want to believe it's too late to start working. So I've only lived in Nigeria and in Canada, but I'm going to just speak a bit about what I've seen here, and maybe it would apply to what happens in Ireland as well. In Canada, you can wake up at 55 and decide you want to change your careers, and you still can. So I would not say it's too late for you to start working at 50. I would not say it's too late. I don't think it's ever too late. Like, you're studying now to become an accountant, which means you would have education, you will have skills and competencies that you can bring into the workplace. I don't believe that that is going to be useless. I don't think any employer will look at that and say because you're 50, they will say it's too late for you to start. I don't want to believe that. Like, from what I've seen in Canada, you can start your career at that time. You can start your career, you can do a career switch at any time. You have skills, life experiences that you can transfer and bring into the workplace. So no, I do not. If it's different in Ireland, I don't know. But if I'm going to go by general what I've seen everywhere, I do not believe that it's too late, especially since you're studying, which means that you're gaining education in this area. You're gaining experience. You're going to be gaining education, I mean, and your life experiences. It will count for something that you can transfer into the workplace. So no, I'm not going to say it's too late. And good on you. Like, that's very courageous that you're studying at 50 and you want to start your life again. That's very good. Okay, Tina, thank you. 23-year-old is a full adult. Yes, they will have to do their own application and you can link it. I sent you a personal message on Instagram, but you haven't replied. My Instagram DM is a complete mess. I cannot keep up with that. I'm going to be honest with you. The best way to reach me is by email. And for my email, I'm responding to the emails in the order in which they come in. So sorry, just send me an email. That's the best way I'll see it. I have help with the email. Somebody moderates my emails for me. I only respond to the ones that need my precise attention. But for Instagram, it is a mess. I don't know how I'm going to be able to clean that up. I'm considering locking it for the time being, just so that I don't get any more messages coming while I try to clean up what's already there. But I'm sorry, Instagram is hard. Oh, Jolomi, I see. Oh, your supervisor is an amazing person. You should be heartbroken. You have an amazing package. Notice is 2 weeks. It's tough. So, what exactly is important to you? Why were you applying for other jobs, even with this amazing supervisor and beautiful package in this company? Do you think you can give this company a little more time? Do you think so? Like, is the difference with the new offer really that good that you're willing to stake all of this? At the end of the day, it comes down to what's important to you. Because mental health balance, mental health, a healthy and a stable mental health is also, it should be put into consideration when you're looking for opportunities. It's not just money anymore. It does seem like you have an amazing thing going. So you want to put that on the table. Like, is it worth it for you? Is the money more important at this time? If it is, then you're going to go, and you two, you form cry with that your amazing supervisor and tell them, sorry, I have to go. But keep the relationship, don't burn bridges, because you never know. I've seen people leave organizations, go to other places, and come back. If you burn the bridges, you will not be able to come back. So keep that communication open. If you have put all the cards on the table and this new job is what you need as next steps right now, then put in the resignation, but tell them that you want to keep the door open just in case you need to come back. They typically would be open to that. Don't burn the bridges. That's all I can say. But it can be tough, actually. I've been in that position, like leaving an employer where it's like, I like this place, everything is going, but the money is not enough. Like, you'll be upfront with her just to say, this is what you're looking at, this is where your family is at, and you could use the more money at that time. You never know, you could use it as a tool to bargain, and they will match what the new employer is offering you. I've seen that happen for some people before. If it's all about the money, you tell your supervisor you're resigning, they will say, no, I'll match what the new person is giving you, and they do it. So You just never know. You guys, it's been an hour already. Time flies. I'm trying to build a career in HR and also looking forward to relocate to Canada soon. Okay. What would you advise me to do? Certification study I can do from Nigeria during this waiting period. What are you already doing now? What's your career in right now? Like what skills, what experiences, what competencies are you able to transfer into human resources right now as you're waiting? Certification, CIPM is a good one. There are a number of universities in Nigeria. I know the Open University of Nigeria offers some human resources certificates, but beyond just certification, you're going to need experience. Canada places experience over certification. There's a lot more emphasis on your hands-on experience as against, okay, I didn't change the question. This is what I'm responding to. There's a lot more um, emphasis on the hands-on experience that you have as against certification. So while you're looking to build certification, also look to build experience. That's what's going to count more. Oh, you're welcome, Florence. That's so encouraging that you're looking to go back, start your life at 50. Never too late. We're all rooting for you. My supervisor is an amazing person. She'll be heartbroken. She fought to bring me in as the only black person in company. The package is good, but my new job is six figures. Goodness gracious, bro or sis. Well, I'm just going to go and beg the supervisor to say thank you for all that you have done for me. But given my needs and the situation of my family at this time, this is the offer that I've been given. Can the company match this? If they can't, I'm sorry, but I will have to take it. Beg them. You too, beg them. If they cry, cry too. Like, it's tough. It's a tough position. I'm telling you, I can relate how difficult it can be to resign for certain places. But at the end of the day, Jolome, I want you to think about it this way, that your career advancement is your first priority. You are working for your own career advancement. You are the one who's in the driver's seat of your career advancement. Along the way, there are people who help us, but your primary responsibility and your primary focus is to your own career advancement. Unfortunately, as much as we like this place, as much as the attachment is building, if you find another opportunity that better advances your career opportunity, I would say take it. Like I said previously, don't burn the bridge because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow. Just explain to them, tell them the truth as it is. Like, this is what you're looking at, and this is the opportunity that has opened up. If it's the opportunity that the current company can match, they will match it. If they won't match it, or if they can't match it, then unfortunately, you have to do what works best for your own career advancement and not feel guilty about it. I can understand the sentimental attachment, especially with the person fighting for you to come in, but your career advancement is your career advancement. That's your first priority, and that's what the focus should be. You're welcome. Okay. Jalomi, this is another advice. Send your emotions away in Canada. They may wake up tomorrow and fire you without an atom of emotion. That one day. That one join. So yes, please put your own self first. I'm about to graduate from midwifery school, and here I can get, where is here? I can get experience working in hospitals, hospital and maternities without salary. How can employers acknowledge my experience without proving my salary? I don't understand this question. Where is here? Are you talking about Canada? If you're going to graduate from midwifery school in, I'm guessing that this is your home country. There's no, salary is not a requirement to get a job. Like, I'm trying to understand what you're really asking. And midwife, it means that you're going to get certified here. You're going to have to get certified. Like, it's a regulated profession in Canada. You're going to need to do recertify here before you can practice as a midwife. But I'm just not sure about the emphasis to the salary, and you have experience, you have experience. If you have education and you have experience, that's what matters, not necessarily your salary. Fatu, if I'm getting this wrong, please help me understand it. I don't get. You're welcome, Jolomi. I hope it all works out well for you. Okay, Fatu, you're in Senegal. You're about to graduate from midwifery school in Senegal, and you can get experience. Again, your salary does not count in the grand scheme of things. I don't think it matters. It's your education and your experience. That's what really counts. Okay, I think I've gotten through all the questions. If I didn't answer your question, please put it back so I can see it. Before I go, guys, as we start to wrap this up, I just wanted to speak a bit about a couple of things that I've been seeing, like recurring themes among immigrants in Canada, especially when it comes to taking care of yourself. And Jolomi, I'm sorry, I'm going to use your situation as an example. I like what is happening. I like that you're sensitive enough to see the fight that the person has fought to bring you into the organization and the position that you're in. But sometimes that in itself is what people use to hold themselves down. Like you don't consider other options because of that. You feel like you're indebted to that person because of what they have done for you. But like Tina said, if this organization is going to restructure and your position is going to be eliminated, I don't think they'll think about it twice before they do it. I don't think they'll think about it twice. So we have to start to prioritize ourselves more. Now, that's in the workplace. On a personal note, I had a couple of disturbing stories in the last week and a half about people who um, will excuse or make excuses for how they're feeling, or how did this person put it? Like you're not feeling well, physically you're not feeling well, but you excuse the pain. Like you talk down on your pain and you want to manage the pain and manage the pain until it gets to the point where it's too late. I want us to stop doing that as immigrants, really, especially for those of us who are here as permanent residents, where you have access to the health insurance that most provinces offer. If you're not well, you feel the same kind of pain 1 day, 2 days, please go and get it checked. Stop enduring pain. There are too many people who are just dropping and dying because of pain that they have been managing. They thought it was nothing. I'm just managing. I'm just managing. There's another school of thought. Now, I don't know how true this is. I'm just quoting what somebody else has mentioned to me, that sometimes, especially as Black people, when you go in to get some things checked and you're talking about how painful it is, it's almost like you you have to prove extra that it's painful, because there's like a silent undertone that Black people know how to manage pain. So they don't really take the pain seriously. If you say my pain on a scale of 1 to 10, I feel this pain like 6. It's almost easy for somebody to diminish that because they feel like, oh no, your pain threshold is high. So you'll be able to manage a little more pain. Put your foot down. Check, go and get things checked. Ask questions. If the doctor says, oh no, I don't think this is anything, insist sometimes that no, I want this checked, I want this test done, I want this. Like, put your foot down, ask questions. Don't just take everything that you're told hook, line, and sinker. I had 2 stories like that this past week of people who almost died because they were managing their own pain, and by the time they got to the hospital, it was like the people they were talking to did not take them seriously. So guys, please, if you feel something, go to the hospital. If you're in pain, don't minimize your pain, talk about it the way it is. Basically, all I'm trying to say is please take care of yourself, especially now that we're entering winter, where we're not going to have as many hours of sunshine. Your vitamin D is a must. Your supplement, if you need, is a must. You need to find a way to incorporate physical activity into your everyday. It will help you mentally, because there's already seasonal affective disorder. It's like depression that is associated with winter. You want to manage that process for yourself. Keep yourself as active as possible. That's where your support system comes in. That's where your circle comes in. Just so that this whole thing is bearable and is manageable for everybody. I just thought I should chip that there, guys. I just thought I should chip that in there for everybody who's going to be experiencing winter, especially for those of you who will be experiencing winter for the first time. Beyond just wearing the right clothes, yeah, it does take a toll on you mentally. It does take a toll. So that's where a support system comes in, and all your necessary vitamins. You need that to manage all that winter is. I said we're wrapping this up, but my people have asked more questions. You guys don't want us to go. What province would be best to transition into tech? Ontario is the tech hub. Ontario is a tech hub, so that's your best bet. That's all I can say. My husband got visitor's visa for 3 months and I want him to stay longer. How do I go about it? Extend the visa. I think the IRCC website has an option to extend visitors visa. So look it up and see how you can extend it. My husband has graduated with a master's in translation and he does interpretation. What can you advise him? Which certification he can take? For what? Like, he has graduated with a master's. Which other certification does he need? Like, are you talking about so that he can find a job in Canada? Why is he looking to take another certification? He just graduated with a master's. And translation is big here with the IRCC, especially because they are constantly looking to translate certain things to different languages to accommodate the population of newcomers that are coming in. So as many languages as things can be interpreted into better. How how easy or hard is it for students to get employment in Canada? Students typically get minimum wage jobs while they're working. So it might not be anything fancy with minimum wage, like retail or yeah. Changing career. Fatu, is your husband looking to change careers from the masters he just graduated from? Is looking to change careers. I've done a couple of videos on my channel about changing careers. You have to do like a skills audit to know what skills you already have, what career are you changing to, and when you identify that, you'll be able to determine which skills can be transferred. What can you transfer that you already have into the new career you're getting into? And if there are skills that are still deficient, that's what should indicate what kind of certifications you should take. So you need to do the skills audit first before you can determine which certification you should take. That's what I would suggest. Amaka, no, I know a couple of people who have extended their visas while the person was in Canada. They didn't have to leave. Just look on the IRCC website. Look on the IRCC website, you would see, you will most likely find what you can do to extend. But the people that I know who have extended visitors visa didn't have to leave Canada. Unfortunately, that's the last question I'll be taking because it's almost an hour, 30 minutes that we've been on this. Okay, Ochman, thank you very much. I'm going to put this out. Omaka, this is for you. Visitors visas extension in Canada is easy and it costs $100. If you intend to work while on a visiting visa, then it's more complicated. Yes. Greater Ahonsi, can you book a session with me? Yes, you can. I'm going to include my Calendly link in the chat. Hold on a second. That's the link to my Calendly. It's in the chat section. You can click on that if you want to book a one-on-one session. Is there a Naira payment option? We can talk about that. Right now it's PayPal, but we can talk about that if Naira option is what you are looking for. If that's what you want, just send me an email and we can arrange for that. So yes, for those of you who have questions, who have one-on-one needs that you want to talk about, you can book a consultation. My calendar link is on the screen and it is in the chat. You can book a conversation and we can talk about all of this because I can only give you general advice here. There's only so much personalized information I can give if I don't have all the details. And I recognize that, I mean, not all of you be comfortable putting all of the details of your family on a public platform like this. So if you want to have a one-on-one conversation, you can book that consultation session and we can have that going. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining. It's always such a pleasure to be here and have conversations with you all and answer your questions. It's always so nice when I can do this. I will try my possible best to make these question and answer sessions a little more frequent so that we don't leave it as long as we have in the last little while. Thank you guys so much for coming to indulge me, for all your congratulatory messages. They are still pouring in. I see them. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you all so much for making this worth it and worthwhile for me. Well, thanks again, everybody. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And until I come your way next Sunday in a new video, as always, it's your girl Marina saying thank you and have an awesome day, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.